As I showcased in my previous Jaws analysis, Spielberg's virtuoso talent with the camera, combined with his use of classical suspense techniques, made Jaws into a smash hit and cemented its reputation as one of the best thrillers of all time. Most people don't consider Jaws to be a horror film, but it definitely uses that genre's well-worn storytelling tropes to maximize the terror in the audience. The opening scene is a perfect example of this, and I'll be breaking that down in today's video. Jaws' terrifying nature is established almost immediately. The opening titles are superimposed over an underwater traveling shot, presumably from the shark's point of view. It's a great way to show the shark without actually showing the shark. Since the mechanical shark rarely worked, it forced Spielberg to rely on other techniques to sell its existence, mainly point-of-view shots. This was actually a blessing in disguise, as it gave the shark an almost supernatural presence over the film, amplifying its effectiveness. Point-of-view shots are something Hitchcock used very effectively in his work to heighten audience perception during horrific events, making those moments extra effective. Jaws is almost a full-on homage to Hitchcock, as Spielberg was very influenced by the master of suspense, successfully using point-of-view shots in his earlier work on the film Duel. And his first TV assignment, the episode Eyes from Night Gallery.
Concrete, buildings, grass, airplanes, color!
The horror angle isn't far behind, since John Carpenter's Halloween used the killer's POV during the entire opening sequence to great effect in that classic slasher. And Marion Crane's drive to the Bates Motel in Psycho, the granddaddy of all slasher films, utilized the POV shot as a foreshadowing device. The rain and slashing of the windshield wipers foretelling her eventual fate in the shower at the hands of Mrs. Bates. Subsequent slasher films after Jaws, which owed their inspiration to Psycho, also used the POV shot to heighten audience participation in the carnage. This is all to say that Jaws' opening POV shot of the killer shark is textbook horror. Added to all this is John Williams' amazingly simple, almost primal music cue, giving whatever's swimming along a formidable presence and foreshadowing the terrifying events to come. Now, out of the water, we come to a long tracking shot across the faces and bodies of a group of young people partying on the beach. And we come to a young couple making out. Young people in their promiscuous ways have long been a staple of slasher movies, and Spielberg gives that familiar trope its due in the opening moments. Any sexual activity is often a precursor to a violent murder in slasher movies. This continues to foreshadow what is about to occur. The camera comes to a rest on this young man, all by himself. The way he's deliberately placed at the edge of the frame, the object of the camera's desire, since it stops to focus on him, all cues us into the fact that he's going to be an important part of the scene. Smart visual storytelling. The first cut is to this girl, the object of the boy's desire, staring back at him. The mutual attraction is pretty obvious here. Notice how the smoke from the bonfire slightly obscures her, giving her a dream girl-like appearance. But the smoke could also be seen as a warning that something bad is going to happen to her. This dual visual meaning is a simple but effective way of giving a simple shot greater thematic dimension. And the smoke from the young man's cigarette is a subtle way to connect the two of them visually. He approaches her, The two have a short conversation and they run off. At this point, everything that's been communicated to us about the scene has happened silently, without dialogue. Alfred Hitchcock was once quoted as saying, "If it's a good movie, the sound could go off and the audience would still have a pretty clear idea of what's going on." This is because movies are primarily a visual medium. The story is told through images, and the best filmmakers take full advantage of this. Spielberg is no exception, and this opening sequence is a great example of his ability to let the story unfold without the use of dialogue.
What's your name again?
Chrissie,
Where are we going?
swimming!
Slow up. Slow down. I'm not drunk. Slow down. Wait, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm definitely coming. Whoa, hold up. What?
Okay, let's rewind this part, because it's not as simple as it seems, and it's absolutely worth taking a closer look at.
What's your name again?
Chrissie,
Okay, so the first bit I want to mention, besides the obvious raging hormones, is we actually have our first bit of dialogue. He asks her name, again, because he forgot. That tends to happen when you think with your small head and not your big head. The point is, keeping the film silent here doesn't make as much sense, because we need to know something about these characters in order to humanize them. Unlike a lot of other slasher movies, the victims in Jaws actually matter, even if only on a surface level, because Jaws is not your average horror movie. And notice the backdrop. The characters are silhouetted over a dark, overcast sky. This creates a very ominous and foreboding atmosphere. It's not just teenagers about to get killed, it's stylish and tasteful filmmaking. It has a point. Now pay attention to this next bit. See how they're both in the frame together? This is a strong image. It visually bonds them together. But then,
Where are we going?
swimming!
Chrissie runs out of the frame, leaving him behind. This is a strong counterpoint to the previous moment and strongly foreshadows what's about to occur. The loss of Chrissie from this shot visually suggests we're about to lose her to the shark. And this visual metaphor is further emphasized by the cutting back and forth between the two of them as they race towards the water.
Slow down. Wait, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm definitely coming.
And here Spielberg is able to include a bit of nudity without having to get explicit. Exploitative nudity would become fairly commonplace in the slasher genre after John Carpenter's Halloween was released several years later. But here Spielberg was able to get a jump on the competition.
Whoa.
And this shot should be pretty self-explanatory to any self-respecting Spielberg fan. Did you catch it? Okay, here it is again. Notice the sunset in the background? By now, we should all be pretty familiar with Spielberg's iconic sun on the horizon shots. It's an indelible image seared into the minds of movie fans, and a common emotional high point in many of his films. And the trend started as far back as Amblin, the short film that secured him a directing contract in TV for Universal as his first professional assignment.
I can swim. Just can't walk or dress myself.
The calm, almost soothing sound of the ocean creates a false sense of security, and since we've already seen the presence moving through the water over the opening credits, we know something terrible is about to go down.
Come on in the water!
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Once again, we come to the POV shot employed earlier, this time staring up at the girl, silhouetted against the pale moon. Still, we haven't seen the shark. This kind of restraint has all but disappeared from today's mainstream cinema. So what just happened? The girl died, and that's it, right? Not really. I mean, again, what seems so simple never is when dealing with Spielberg. So let's unpack this. First off, notice where the camera is situated in these water shots, almost directly on top of the water. This puts us smack dab in the ocean, right along with Chrissie. Whatever is attacking her could be attacking us. And then there's this shot of the drunk young man, blissfully unaware of the carnage. The calmness of the shore acting as counterpoint to the savagery of Chrissie's attack, making her dire situation all the more tragic. This is a great way of highlighting the brutality of the shark attack. Now, by keeping the shark hidden, Spielberg allows the human imagination, which is more powerful than anything you can show in a movie, to conjure up all sorts of horrible things. Hiding the threat while showing its absolute destructive power and intensity is employed by Spielberg in some of his other films, most notably the opening sequence of Jurassic Park. Pay attention to this next shot. Notice how Chrissie is dragged away from the buoy in the distance toward the camera, which is us, since we're in the water with her, remember? It's as if the audience is her lifeline, and just as she's about to reach us, she's sucked under, never to be seen again. It's a great shot. And it's quiet again. The peaceful backdrop and young man on the shore, having forgotten all about her. It's a striking contrast to what's just happened. It's as if Chrissie never even existed. This contrast is deliberate, it's effective, and it rounds out the opening sequence. And it's just one reason why Jaws is a classic. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like and subscribe button, as I'll be posting more content in the future. Thanks for watching.